I'm a pretty, like, I'm pretty sensitive to how my ear acts. Sometimes it just, you know, acts strange. Alright, so I do remember in 2023, and that was before Kiwi Farms talked shit about me. I used to complain up to them about ear infections, and it's like, how do I make it so I was just, I didn't, it was, I didn't handle ear infections as good as back then. I do fucking hate Kiwi Farms and shit. I mean, ear infections are what happens with an ear infection. Basically, it's probably because, oh wow, like that is some absurd, that is some absurd, bit, it sounds a bit muffled in my right ear, actually. Sounds a bit muffled in my right ear. Yeah. I do remember, like, in live streaming in 2025, Ruben Sim actually asked me why I abused the shit out of my ears. It was a sensory issue thing with autism, basically. Like, you get, like, fluid buildup in your ear, and, yeah, I mean, 2023 and the first half of 2024, as well as 2022, were the years I had pretty bad ear infections. And nowadays, when I get an ear infection, it's like, alright, fine. So long as it's not painful, I can just deal with it. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, yeah, oh yeah, it does feel a bit muffled in my right ear. When it feels this strange, actually. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I was told, like, I was basically told, like, the older you are, the less ear infections you get, but, you know, I mean, nobody likes ear infections. I definitely don't like them, especially when they're painful. I mean, fucking hate it when they're painful. But I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna see what people compare. Which one is more painful? Dry socket or eardrum perforation? There's no direct comparison of pain levels between dry socket and eardrum perforation, as the context contains no information regarding dry socket. Yeah, eardrum perforation can cause sudden severe pain, particularly if caused by an injury or acoustic trauma. Hmm. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. People say like eardrum perforation and dry sockets are extremely painful, but like if I perforated my eardrum many times before, many times there was a hole in my eardrum basically, and yeah, it was like 2023 and 2022. I was bitching about it nonstop. Basically, I was bitching about it nonstop. Mind you, in 2021, I also had days where ear infections happened, specifically during the holidays. And in 2020, I had an entire month in September dealing with ear infections. And 2019, I had an ear infection in my left ear. And 2015, I've also dealt with it too. So it's kind of like a thing, you know. 2025 is interesting because I don't really experience an ear infection on that year. Neither in 2018 really. Wasn't until New Year's of 2024. Usually the holidays of 2023 when I just accept the fact that it's just an occurrence that yeah. Some people are born to have like chronic ear infections, you know. But yeah, I used to. There was a video I made called "Ear Infection Rage Incident" where I've basically freaked out over that ear infection, and it was basically a doorbell cam footage. I was transported to Pierre Lougheed Center on that day. Like, yeah, Kiwi Farms knows it. This garbage website knows it. Honestly, you know. Like, I do remember, like, many people described it as me screaming like a banshee. Ear infections are not comfortable whatsoever. It's never really been comfortable. Yeah. Yeah, looking at that footage today, it's really disturbing. Yeah, it's really disturbing actually looking at that footage. Mind you, my father gives me shit for screaming over these things. He told me he will never put up with this shit again. Eventually, you know. Well, yeah, you know. Eventually it's gonna happen to you. You're gonna have to suck it up and put up with it, honestly. The sun pops can be pretty disturbing sometimes. Yeah. Best dipping sauce ever. I like the ghost pepper ranch from Wendy's. That was a good one. Yeah, that was well before the Notion Tohoshi incident, you know. Oh yeah, and also in autumn of 2023, there was actually a staph infection in my ear too. At one point, there was actually a staph infection. Yeah, like I stopped the previous stream because I had like a bit of a flutter that kind of disturbed me. It was like, yeah, and I basically, I know it's unsanitary to have your finger in your ear, but I just do it anyways and just fiddle with it. Honestly, I just fiddle with it. It's like with anything my ear makes a sound and I used to complain about. I would do rituals to get it to go away. That's just the thing with autism, you know? That is just the thing with autism. Like I just don't like ears. I just don't like ears. I've never liked them. I mean, I do like the fact that you get to hear things out of it. I mean, that's the only good thing about ears is that. But its design is like. It's very sensitive to water. It's very sensitive to dust. And having pain in it is uncomfortable. My Fun World M3L. My Fun World. Fun World M3L. I want to know. Yeah, like. I want to know the fucking channel, man. What is it again? M3I. Okay, like. I have a. Okay. Okay, it's a person who makes like a drawing video. Hey, Josh. Like, yeah, my right ear feels weird. Like, back in the day, I would handle it much, much, much more poorly. And like, I thought that it would be like one of the last times I would have an ear infection, but it's like, nope, I guess not. You know? Ear infection drainage. Hmm. Yeah, they would actually put tubes in my ear. Because back in the day, I would have ear infections that are pretty bad. Like, when I was young, there were like ear infections where like a huge goop of it would go out of my ears, and my parents said it smells like death. Wonder if other people rage about ear infections. Yeah, I mean, the ear fluttering still freaks me out. Eventually, I felt like the need to slap it to get it to stop because, it just feels so unusual to me. Like, there was this one med that I stopped cold turkey because my ear fluttering was just so violent. I also have a friend who had ear infections too. Yeah, like, mm, in many videos, you would actually see me having my finger in my ear a lot. Yeah, my right ear does feel weird. It honestly does. Doesn't feel usual. I would give my ears like, yeah, kind of massage things. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Ears feel sensitive, and I just happen to feel hypersensitive to it, especially back in the day. Especially like back in the day, you know. Yeah, it did feel pretty debilitating to me, but I would describe it as like God's trials. Oftentimes, I would rant about Canadian healthcare system, like because like an ENT specialist is like pretty hard to get. I eventually got one, and Usually the ENT specialists say there's nothing wrong with my ears, that it's doing fine. But maybe because I abused it so much over the past that it's just used to being very dysfunctional at this point. When it feels like it has water in it, it just feels so weird. It just does. Basically, I had no choice but to put up with the dysfunction of my ear at this point. Felt as if I freaked out over nothing. It was basically my sensory issues. It's basically telling me this is bad. Must do something about it. Honestly, sensory issues. I mean, you don't have to have autism to have sensory issues, but
Have you ever tried to explain sensory overload to someone and they go, oh, like when the music's too loud at a restaurant? Or,
You mean when you're out in crowds?
yeah, not even close. Autistic
Yeah.
sensory processing isn't just about being sensitive. It's about how our brains interpret everything, not just sound, but light, smell, touch, temperature, body awareness, even internal cues like hunger or pain. So let's break down 5 things people constantly misunderstand about autistic sensory processing and what's actually going on instead. Number 1, it's not just about noise. Yes, sound sensitivity is real, but it's just one part of a much bigger picture. Our sensory processing includes sight, touch, taste, smell, balance, body position, and temperature. There's actually a lesser known internal sense called interoception that tells you what's going on inside your body, like hunger, thirst, or needing the bathroom. When interoception is off, you might miss cues until it's urgent. Sounds a lot like diarrhea to me. That's why some of us forget to eat until we're lightheaded, which we might not even realize until we pass out, which can be a bit tricky to explain when you're in a store shopping for hoodies. Hi there. Can I help you find anything today? Yeah, I'm looking for a light.
Yeah, it's because I was watching a video. I was like sensitive to ears making sounds, Yeah, I know ears are supposed to pop. That's how you mitigate like the pressure in your ears, I know that, But I didn't come to terms with it back then, Mm-hmm. Like, chronic ear infection or like otitis media, basically. Yeah, I've had that. I've had. It's relatively common, you know. Probably. I mean, there's some people that never dealt with ear infections before, but yeah. Interestingly, there's been like. So the frequency is 471 million, but only 3,200 people die from it, and that's the 2015 estimate. So yeah, ear infections can kill you if it's bad enough. uh Disability adjusted life year for otitis media. Deaths from otitis media per million persons in 2012. Mostly happens in Africa and the Middle East, and for some reason Hungary has an anomaly. Yeah. It's also like perforated eardrum too. Normal eardrum, but when it's like perforated, it's not good. If it gets bad enough, like there's also a Stetson tube dysfunction. Yeah. Otitis externa. Like, mm. Yeah. It's not comfortable at all. Hasn't been comfortable in a while. Like, yeah. There's been a lot of pus that did come out of my ear before, and sometimes it could be a lot. A lot. You can, like. It would just excrete pus out for quite a bit, you know? Like. Excrete or. I don't know, just. A lot of pus would come out of the ear, basically. But it just basically won't stop. There'd be more and more and more of it, you know? It's insane. There'd be more and more and more of it. Yeah. Uh-huh. Rear Noctilucent Cloud spotted over downtown Portland. Oh, and I also have a heartburn too. Nice. Like, if this gets worse, I might have to go to like urgent care if this gets worse. I mean, if it makes like sounds like these popping sounds, like, I mean, fine, but if it's actually hurting, then it's not good. Just like giving my eardrum a massage. Just kind of feels good, doesn't it? I don't know what it really means. I don't know what's like the minimal depth. I don't know where it stands to draw the line on which is and isn't ear infection. Kind of like broad, different scopes and shit. But you know, when you have autism, yeah, some things you have sensory issues over. I used to have like sensory issues over buttons, but I overcame that. I know with Chris Chan, he had sensory issues over things. Yeah. Did World of T-shirts have autism? Yeah, Joshua Block has autism. His condition was confirmed by his grandfather in an interview, and he is documented on the World of T-shirts wiki. Yeah. World of T-shirts wiki. World of T-shirts.locale.city. Date of birth 7th August 2001. Joshua Paul Josh Block, also known as World T-shirts, born 7th August 2001. Yeah. Call him mentally ill, social media influencer and locale, is infamous for many public meltdowns. Man, I mean, they consider me a lolcow. Yeah, Slop Roach classified Joshua Block as a dysfunctional lolcow, basically. It's like a step below, like, unhinged lolcows, where they just don't function, you know? Basically can't function. Like, he gets hurt in public. Even when he's indoors, he would get hurt, or he would hurt himself if you tell him to put the fries in the bag. Yeah, if Joshua Block watches this, like, like the more you freak out over people saying this to you, the more people are just gonna be tempted to say it anyways. I mean, people on kiwi farms falsely accuse me of being a pedophile, which I'm not. But they're just gonna still call me that anyways because they're complete dumbasses. Yeah. Joshua Block has been known infamously for alcoholism. Mm-hmm. Many people theorize he may have bipolar disorder or possible schizophrenia. I think it might just be ADHD. I know I've been put on medications that are meant to treat people with bipolar disorder, but I don't have that. Okay, like, there's also a use for that kind of medication for people with autism who have quite severe irritability. Josh is well known to be cruel to animals. He had stomped a fish to death. Oh, that's not cool. Throwing a fish out of water and threatens to hit or eat. Oh, man. That's not good at all. Oh my god. And he's been arrested many times. This is sad. I have like a day counter, much like 512 days since Josh's last hospitalization. Hmm. Uh-huh. Travel destinations. United States. Countries visited. Barbados. Oh, he's been to Canada? Yeah, Japan. I've been to Japan. He's also been to Mexico as well. We went to like Mexico. Went to Cancun. Oh man, like that guy's really unhinged. Like, holy shit. United Arab Emirates. Let's see, what's another country? That's like in America, you know, where Greece, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Luxembourg. United Arab Emirates. Videos after being denied entry. After being denied entry, Josh posted a video on Instagram sitting on a plane and visibly in distress, claiming he had been awake for 48 hours and was concerned he might die due to sleep deprivation. Oh man, like, it's been awake for the longest I've been awake is like 40 hours, maybe. And of course, mental health. Oh dear. Yeah, this is really depressing. This is really, really depressing, man. Contrary to popular beliefs, autism does not necessarily make someone automatically smart, nor does it increase someone's IQ, unlike the much more appropriate savant syndrome. In fact, 60% of all autistic persons have below 90 IQ, and only 5% of autistic people have greater than average IQ. It is possible that Josh is between high to mid-functioning autism. However, it's more likely that he isn't high-functioning, as many people live typically normal adult lives without needing any help. Paraphrases. Oh, he repeats phrases, put the fries in the bag. Hand biting and chewing. Hyperfixations. Behaviors highly suggest a fascination with luxury items or lifestyles. Even early on, for instance, his World T-shirt store has a sister site called All Things Luxury. Creates content on various locations, such as New York City and Japan, with a notable breakdown in Japan. Decaying strong interest in man, like. Yeah, there are also like sister wikis to this, you know. There's the Daniel Larson wiki, another guy with autism. Not only does he have autism, he has ADHD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and he's been incarcerated. Like, man. And, yeah, major incidents. There's a lot of major incidents, man. A lot. Health, mental health, athleticism, hygiene. Yeah, the problems with Daniel. Traumatic brain injury. I didn't know that. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Oh, so he doesn't have ADHD? Jesus Christ, man. And people like to fucking troll this guy? Like, god damn, man. Could you imagine if there was a Kiwi Farms equivalent in Japan? They would be talking about Notion Tohoshi all fucking day, and yeah, Notion Tohoshi, from what I'm aware, she admits she's disabled. She, like, yeah, she basically has the same functionality as that of World of T-Shirts, also known as Joshua Block. Many anime artists I've met are known for mental health issues. Well, so do I, man. I have autism, obsessive compulsive disorder, seasonal affective disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder, and it's very possible I may also have ADHD and major depressive disorder. Hi, good night. I'm going to bed. Danielle's refusal to accept help. Daniel Larson rarely ever bathes. Hypersensitivity issues to bathing. Well, so do I, actually. I don't like the feeling of wet hair. Yeah. Daniel is said to have an IQ of 72, making him borderline intellectually functioning. He was only 2 points away from being medically considered intellectually disabled, making him incompetent to stand trial. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh. There's also, like... Yeah, could you imagine if Daniel Johnston was... If Daniel Johnson was born the same year I am, he probably would be a guy documented a lot by Kiwi Farms. Instead of being the beloved outsider musician that he is. Like, honestly, to be honest, I don't like the feeling of my hair being wet. I never liked that feeling. I would usually blow dry my hair, but, you know, that's why I don't shower every day, because I don't like the feeling of wet hair. And putting on a shirt with wet hair just seems like pouring hot coals over my head. I have a friend who said that having scalp hair is hell. And people just mock the shit out of him for that. Like, they don't want to understand people with autism or any other mental health issues. No, they just want to bully them. There's this video about Mark Cole that explains the whole consequences of this. Of the whole lolcow culture. Yeah, Daniel Larson's also an outsider musician. So am I. And then there's Daniel and alleged childhood sexual abuse. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, Daniel and pedophilia. Daniel has been known to like bookmark and watch videos of children. His usual subjects are the aforementioned Grace Vanderwall. Hmm. Daniel was caught by a Reddit user liking photos of their infant child. That is very questionable. Oh. Account includes several photos of Grace Vanderwall and other child stars in bikinis alongside article. Daniel Johnson needs serious help. I mean Daniel Larson, not Daniel Johnson. Daniel Larson needs serious help. Oh my god. Yeah. Daniel Larson is probably a pedophile in the similar nature to that of Cyrax. Yeah. Yeah. There's also the Cyrax wiki. Okay, to be honest, I mean, I've criticized Cyrax before, but I don't do it to in a way of lambasting the guy. I don't do it in a way of lambasting him, but he also needs serious help. But considering the fact that he basically has an intellectual disability, from what I've heard, like intelligence, like for example. He is stands to reason that yeah, got expelled from school at the age of 23. Cyrax. He had to repeat high school for at least 5 years until he was expelled at the age of 23. He has a mild intellectual disability, and he seems to have a mental capacity of that of a 7-year-old. Yeah. Oh, hello, Carl Sagat. Hello. Yeah. Cyrax attempted to create a 10 terabyte virtual hard drive on his nearly full 500 gigabyte physical hard drive that, with the belief that would allow him to create unlimited storage space out of nothing. Yeah. And he was fooled into like dancing into like he was tricked into talking to a fake miner, and the decoy asks Cyrax to make a video of himself dancing to the song Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus, which is notorious for appearing in the psychological horror movie The Silence of the Lambs. I've seen that movie before. Man, like Yeah. You know, like, but Sarek's having the mental capacity of a 7-year-old. Wonder how he even got to high school in the first place. Yeah. Thinks bread soaks up the feeling of heat from spiciness. Believes a woman can become pregnant from swallowing semen. Tempted, yeah. Thinks that ban evasion doesn't exist. During a call with CVG, Sarex demanded that he control his goons, thinking that. What the fuck? Thinks that 20 to 25,000 a year equals to 7 billion without taxes. Man. When it comes to people consider lolcows, Cyrax is probably my favorite subject. Like, does not recognize what a division symbol is. Okay. Yeah. There's this. Yeah, basically. There's this channel called Slop Roach, which is basically a channel based on the subject of the whole lolcows things. It was introduced to him by the lolcow spectrum explained.
Lolcow, a group of people laughed at for actions that they take, despite not trying to be funny. They may try to take themselves seriously, but are often milked for laughs with or without their knowledge. I often get comments asking what a lolcow is exactly, and that's basically the definition right there. However, you clicked on this video probably expecting more, so I want to take the time to explain the different levels of lolcows in an arbitrary spectrum I've created. And later, we'll also see how lolcows tend to evolve into darker, more sinister forms. Let's go. Here we have the category I'll call the oddball category. Here, we have individuals who are mockable and often don't realize this, but are functional and aren't really bad people. These types of lolcows tend to not gain much of a following because lolcow farmers typically like to mock people who deserve it. This could
It's a shame
honestly
King
account
Cobra
for many
JFS
people
passed
online,
away.
but there are a few people who have established a following of people who make fun of their antics. The first person that comes to mind is King Cobra JFS, rest in peace. But the person I've chosen to represent this level is Justin RPG. Justin has two things that make him a prime target: autism and unconventional love interests. The man is in love with giant Pokemon with the capabilities to eat him, and he makes songs about them in the most monotone, tone-deaf voice I've ever heard. Look, I have no hate for him and wish him well, but this is very hard not to laugh at. His autism impairs his ability to understand how he looks to other people, which provides a delusional element in his character, which is one of the key things that defines lolcows. With all that said, he's not a bad guy. He keeps to himself most of the time and chooses to ignore or block any trolls coming his way. With oddballs, people typically just laugh at a distance and don't engage any further. Not only is there not many lulls that can be farmed by interacting with them, but it's also at a point where you're picking on them for doing nothing wrong. And that's probably why they're not as popular as other levels in the spectrum. Next up, we have the base level lolcows. These are people who don't really have anything wrong with their head or intelligence, but act and behave in an infamous way that gets them both negative backlash and trolling to mess with them further. This is likely the most popular kind of lolcow, as people who troll them often do it out of a sense of justice or something. These people also tend to be very egotistical, and while there's nothing wrong with them mentally, it still makes them straight up delusional. There are many people I'd put in this category, such as Boogie2988, Pirate Software, iDubbbz, but the person I think represents this category more than anyone is Darkside Phil. I know people like to regard their DSP as being retarded, but honestly, there's nothing wrong with him other than him being kind of dumb. However, he's very egotistical, and his behavior on stream gets him widespread mockery. For example, not only does he suck at video games, he'll often have a very toxic attitude where he'll blame every death or misstep on a game and its developers instead of blaming himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a tough game. No, it's not. It's not tough. It's the game.
He said he did nothing wrong
In
while
his
sucking
rage,
at a
he'll
game.
often react to comments made on stream in ways that
But I
produce
love
very
Darkside Phil.
humorous
I mean,
results.
this guy.
This is where the farming truly starts, as people will often make videos or memes that simultaneously condemn and make fun of his behavior. These types of lolcows usually end up acknowledging the trolling they get and may even adjust their behavior to prevent more lol farming, but whenever that happens, it's always too late for them. Next up, we have the unhinged lolcows. They're similar to the previous category, but this time they tend to actually have something wrong with them. Usually it's nothing too serious. It's often things like autism, unchecked anger issues, certain addictions, or BPD. However, these conditions tend to impair their ability to recognize their lolcow status, so the behavior that ensues usually digs them deeper and deeper into their own pit. It also doesn't help that they lose control over their mental problems, which creates a slow-moving car crash effect where onlookers have trouble looking away. Examples of these types of lolcows include Tofiachu, Wings of Redemption, Brad Taste in Music, and of course, Bossman Jack.
Music,
I don't know
Big
what
Baller
exactly
B.
it is.
Yeah.
It could be the drugs he was recently arrested for, or it could be that his mind is built that way, or most likely both.
Like
But when he gets in
Bossman
front of
Jack.
that gambling site that's totally not sketchy or rigged, it's
There's
like
a good
any
reason
kind
why
of
I
human
don't
rationality
fuck
immediately
with gambling
disappears.
websites.
It's not just him raging or deluding himself like DSP.
Like,
no,
holy
it's much
shit.
worse. This guy will piss away
Like,
tens of thousands of dollars in his
Bossman
own bank
Jack
account at a virtual casino.
Basically
Every
convinced
time
me
he
not to
says
fuck
one
with the
more
casino
game,
whatsoever.
It's never the case.
The house
And
just
to make
always
things
wins.
worse,
And even if you
he'll
win,
often
the
throw
house just
punches
won't
at
let
the
you
wall
cash
or
out.
himself when he loses. This makes him a prime target for trolling, with people farming him by donating him money so he can gamble it all away and then rage again. Bossman
Yeah,
Jack
wasting
and
their
other
hard-earned
people in
money
this
on
category
something
tend to not be
on
good
their own
people,
sadistic
but they're also
pleasures.
sympathetic in a way that makes you want them to get better.
Very unwise
Unfortunately,
spending.
that usually doesn't happen though. While the people in this category have mental issues, They tend to be functioning in society. Like, they can go outside and talk to people and hang out. They just have extreme vices. The next category is different, however. Next up, we have the dysfunctional lolcows. These people are cognitively impaired to the point where they're not functioning. They usually have more serious mental health issues such as schizophrenia. They sure as hell can't hold a job, and they're a danger to both themselves and the people around them. They need serious intervention in their life, possibly institutionalization. They're far gone to the point where they can't process the idea of being a lolcow, and even if they could, they simply can't stop themselves at all. Examples include
Including
Chris
USA.
Chan pre-2020, Tony Chase, and of course, World of T-Shirts, also known as Joshua Block. Every time Josh Block goes on a little journey, someone gets hurt, usually himself. Hell, even indoors, he may hurt himself if you tell him to put the fries in the bag enough times. Josh is very easily fired
I
for
would wonder
outrageous
where
behavior,
would
and
I
he's also very
be in the
mentally
lolcow
ill and an
spectrum?
alcoholic,
What do you
which
guys
means the
think?
people who antagonize him tend to be not good. His reactions to being trolled spill out everywhere and affect people all around him, specifically the fry bagging. I just want to take this guy to the side and explain to him that the more he reacts, the more often people will be telling him this. This level is often the point of no return for lolcow progression, so it's actually a small category. And unfortunately, Josh being diagnosed with pancreatitis shows that at the very least he's going to be dealing with the consequences of his current behavior for the rest of his life. And at worst, he's going to enter the next category. Next up, we have lolcows turned horror cows. This is a big category with many people. As explained by the category title, these people start out as those who unintentionally do things that people find funny, which gets trolls to poke and prod a little bit further. Then upon looking more into them, they discover something very dark and evil about them, usually involving children. They typically get the worst kind of trolling, and nobody stands up for them, as nobody wants to be known as that one guy who defended a pedophile once. This is the category where they're horror cows for
I
their
have a
effed up
feeling like
behavior, but they're
some
also
people on
lol
Kiwi
cows
farms
because
would
people
probably
continue
consider
trolling
me
and
a
antagonizing them
horror
for
cow.
laughs. Examples include Daniel Larson,
Despite
Nova
the fact-
Online, Jupiter the Hybrid, and of course, Cyrax. Cyrax has a lot of
Despite the
problems
fact that I
with him
don't do the things
mentally.
they do.
But one thing that constantly gets him trolled is the massive ego he has. He is never able to admit he's wrong, constantly plays the
Cyrax.
victim, rages on stream at the most mundane trolling, so he absolutely
Some
fits
people
the
compared me to
definition of a lol
Cyrax.
cow. People always enjoyed it when Music Biz Marty would be talking to him in the most cordial way while Cyrax was screaming like crazy. People have also set up creative ways to troll him, like when John set up a fake trial for him. However, amongst all these laughs, let's not forget how much of a horrible person Chance is.
Yeah, he's
We
a
all
terrible
know that
person.
he's flirted with girls he thought were underage, even sending pictures of his dick to them. It gets worse, of course, as
Yeah, that's
Cyrax
really
was also
stupid of
exposed as
him.
being a legit rapist when he was in high school.
That was an
See,
allegation,
Cyrax
though.
had befriended a boy named Billy who was legally blind, and he took advantage of him when they were in a room together. Cyrax actually tried saying that he was the one who was assaulted. However, Music Biz Marty managed to get in touch with Billy and asked him about the story, where he revealed that Cyrax was the predator, not him. While it's funny to laugh at Cyrax's antics and misfortunes, we have to remember that he's an evil, twisted individual who should be behind bars, just like everyone else in this
I have a feeling they don't
category.
even put him behind bars
Finally,
because he's
we
been
have
through
the
enough hell.
end-stage horror cow. Pure nightmare fuel. These are people who can't really be classified as lolcows because they cannot be farmed for laughs, as their behavior is so repulsive and reprehensible that it doesn't inspire any mockery. It only causes a deep sense of dread when you think about their horrific
Yeah.
actions. They aren't talked a lot about in popular YouTube videos, but many of them do exist. If you want more information, you can check out the video that I did about them. I'd consider all 8 of these people to be in this category. I also don't want to talk about their actions in detail again, because frankly, that video was the hardest video I've ever done because of all the dark rabbit holes I had to go down. Also, it got demonetized. I don't mean to end this video on a down
Yeah,
note,
interestingly
but just be
enough, I've
careful out
actually
there on the internet, as there are many
interacted with
people like
Randy
those in this
Stair and
category. And the
Pampered
scary part
Chew.
is, the more we as a society fail to address the dysfunctional lol cows, the more pure horror cows will be created to roam the internet and in real life looking for their next victim.
Yeah, like, the fact that Pampered Chew microwaves diapers is so creepy. Like, that is, like, such a hazard, honestly. I think Randy Stair was the guy that parodied the Angry Video Game Nerd. Specifically his You Know What's Bullshit series. And then he got obsessed with some maniacs from Columbine and wanted to do a shooting of his own, which he did in 2017. Man. Yeah, EDP 445. Yeah, I have no respect for that guy. Yeah. Just someone says DSP is why I hate telling people I play games. Bossman Jack is way more enduring than the rest of his category. Just gotta treat his parents better. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they're pretty spicy, actually. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Chris Chan is a horror cow too. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah.